High top flip flops.
Trapaholics mixtapes.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 82 of High Top Flip Flops. As always, this is Krish. I'm here with Nivake.
Hey.
Man, talk to me.
Hey, what's up?
I'm chilling. Oh, that was a real question.
you know when we do those kind of things, like I don't know if it's rhetorical if I'm asking you, but in this case, I'll go with I'm asking you.
Hey, thank you, man. I'm resting for the most part. We're doing just a cheeky episode, just Nivake and I, and you know what that means. We didn't lock in a guest for this week.
we call these free episodes.
Free episodes, yeah.
You know,
Free ball,
because this whole time, like, what we'll do is we'll set a time limit for 45 minutes to an hour, right? And then we'll cut it right then at 45 or an hour.
That's right.
And we'll try to get in as many thoughts as possible.
Thoughts or content? Because correct me if I'm wrong, 2021, no more thoughts. Just content.
You're 100% correct with that, where I did say all thoughts are content. So we'll just get out as many content as possible.
All the content.
You know what? And those people who are thinking about correcting me, don't, because I don't care about English that much. I don't get why we did, throughout high school.
Colonizer's tongue.
Yeah. Like, worry about your own tongue before, worry about this tongue. You feel me? So, one thing I did want to bring up real quick before we get into this list here of random topics. I feel like it's first take.
Yeah.
Let me bring up sports topics, but instead, we're talking about everything but sports, probably. And, I'll start out with this. On podcasts, we feel, or maybe I only feel, like bringing up, relationships or funny moments in relationships in the past. But I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh.
Because you gotta be private, with certain sections of your life. You gotta preserve the good that you have. Okay. And then that had me thinking about these weddings that, people be having, You've been to a wedding, right?
I have a couple.
And you gotta say how much you love the other person in front of everybody you know.
Yeah.
You gotta say, like, damn, I really love this person. And then they always say some corny stuff like, man, this is the person I would watch all Harry Potter movies with, or something like that. And then that I'm embarrassed, when I hear that. Because, like, they're not going to say, like, oh, we watched all of Curb together or something like that. They're going to... And there's a lot of cool shows out there. Like, the cool show spectrum has really opened up a lot. Would you say so?
I think so. I'm behind, as I always am. But definitely more shows, more content, that I definitely am trying to catch up on. Feel more excited, engaged to catch up on.
For example, this season of The Bachelor is not a white guy. I think I don't want to just, I'm not going to say it because I don't know. I can't confirm me. Okay. I'm going to say black, and then they're going to be like, he might be like a specific, might be biracial. I don't even know.
Right.
And this season is already cool. Whereas the previous seasons were not, because there was 49 white guys in a row
prior to this.
And we're tired of that.
Fair.
So, and this is now cool. So I don't mean just HBO programming is cool.
Right.
I mean, other things are definitely cool.
They're getting cooler. Okay. Fair enough. I got to conclude. I'm probably still not going to give The Bachelor a shot. But, it's progress. That is, worth noting. We'll still say do better, because let me guess, 90% of the women on that show are probably white as well.
No, actually, I think I'm gonna throw out another. I just saw a couple pictures once, so this is not backed up by facts. Again,
we are
this is not a fact.
Anti-faxers. Come on.
Big anti-faxers, you're correct. And I think I maybe saw like 5 or 6 maybe women of color, and the rest are like 13 white women, and that's improvement somehow.
It's progress. Progress, quote unquote. Damn, I hear you. I hear you on the personal weddings, or weddings being very kind of like intimate moments. But I guess that's kind of like the part. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's also the part that makes them more special, is that it's like, oh, this kind of like, the intimacy that is like experienced on a day-to-day with this person, or maybe not on a day-to-day. I don't know what people's romantic relationships look like, but maybe that's where it's like, oh, the fact that kind of not only is celebrated, but maybe reflected upon kind of publicly is, that's where the tears come out. It's where it becomes very sentimental. You complete me, all the things I say to you on bi-weekly basis. But
well, you know how you can make it special. Maybe during the first dance, don't play Shape of You.
Yes.
Like, is that the only song? Do you listen to music? Do you guys have you heard 10 songs? Like, there's so many songs better than that, right?
Yes.
You can go as far back as Donny Hathaway. You can be current, like with a Snow Allegra song.
Yeah.
But they always choose "I'm in love with the shape of," like, it's not even that. Like, okay,
that's
maybe
whack, man. We can say
it's whack.
We don't
It's
like
whack,
that
right?
song.
Yeah, all right. I
Okay.
can say
you can say it, man. Come on. I was also just thinking, I was like, damn, like right now, given the current state of the world, I've like a part of me like cringed a little bit when I said anti-faxers, because I was like, oh, I feel like it's just teetering a little bit too much to a very sensitive topic right now. But let me be clear, it's FACTS, anti-faxers.
Also, I love when celebs are like, "Go get your vaccines." Bro, I can't get a vaccine. I'm 849,000 place. Like, I'm gonna get. I don't have money. Like, don't you understand?
This is the Hunger Games. Like, chill out.
The Rock is like, go get a vaccine. It's that easy. No, it's not easy, Dwayne.
Oh my God. It is, from what I understand, things are moving a lot quicker in the States. So maybe the whole like go and get it, as in like the responsibility is now on the citizen versus the state. Whereas for us, it's the other way around. Very clearly. Everyone's just kind of like, well, most people, I don't want to assume everyone's kind of up for getting a vaccine, but yeah, that's really funny. This isn't like voting, it's not like, hey, make sure you vote. It's like, yeah, I know, motherfucker, I know. I need to get this vaccine.
I want to be outside. I want to have fun again.
I'm trying to slap my boys' asses, man. I'm trying.
Exactly. You can't even do that.
I can't even do that, man. God damn it. But you're talking about shows. You're talking about new shows that you're liking. You wanted to talk a little bit about this Britney Spears documentary. Is that out yet? Is it on its way out?
Yeah, it has dropped on Crave, so it's been on HBO for like a couple weeks now. And man, it really just presses on how horrible people were to her, right? And the weirdest part for me was Letterman, because he did some interviews with, like, at that time, Britney Spears. I don't know if he interviewed Britney Spears, but I know he interviewed Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton.
Okay.
And it was just like a lot of really just cheap shots consistently, and it was tough to watch now. And I'm like, wow, that's what he came up with at that time. Like, that's all he could do. He couldn't really, and I know he's supposed to be a legend and all, but you gotta press these guys. Like, that's so whack of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, write better jokes, come up with better stuff. It's easy. Like, you have a writer's room of people that get a decent salary to write jokes. That's what they do. They wake up at maybe 9 a.m. They're in a room with funny people just writing jokes and probably doing whatever. They could do whatever, literally, right?
Yeah.
And so write better stuff instead
Very
of,
better stuff.
and even Letterman especially, like, can't just take these wild shots and sucks to watch, and how we just even though they're celebs, I just don't like shitting on people when they're down, when they're on their own, taking their own process to go through these things, because I have, maybe other people have, of course, in different facets, not on this. Like, the thing is, um like, since, like, I could have done worse, but there's no light on me,
Right.
so it doesn't matter.
No public scrutiny. Um, yeah, absolutely. And with Letterman, I'll like, yeah, the things that stand out to me are like, one, like all of the people that you named about kind of like being publicly scrutinized were women in this case as well,
Exactly.
which like definitely adds like another layer to it. Like, of course, it was easy for like Letterman to like go and do that, in the same way that like we've seen other guests come on to talk shows and like people be like, oh, you're kind of weird, but like at the same time, like I realize, like, using this specific example may, like, there's nuances to it, which I may not kind of be speaking to here, but just thinking about like what it was like, particularly when Kanye was like really like publicly kind of like going through like episodes, when he came on talk shows, it was more so like, are you okay, like how's everything going, like what's going on with you, rather than like being brought on a show just to be ridiculed, which, like, yeah, can, like, many layers to it. One, it's like, oh, like, yeah, maybe your fucking writer's room is just like, compassionate people, and that, like, people thought like making jokes like that were just poking fun at like people's, like, they're kind of like their mental or public breakdowns is like okay, but two, like, it's inevitably, like, my mind goes to think like, yeah, it was probably easier for them to like make those jokes because it's just like the trope of like a late, like a woman losing her mind kind of deal, right? And like,
Exactly.
and you brought it up too, which, yeah, is also kind of this classic argument, right? Which is just like, yeah, it's just easier to like make fun of someone who you're like super far removed from, right? Like, I was probably in what, middle school, when, like, Britney Spears had her kind of like public breakdown where she shaved her head, and was kind of like physical with paparazzi. Yeah, it's not something I follow very deeply, but I remember at the time being like, oh yeah, wow, she's lost it, like she's off the rails kind of deal, at that point, with like very little compassion to like what she might have been going through, right?
When, yeah, what you did was kind of totally normal.
Yeah.
It's very normal now.
Yeah.
And they kind of controlled that narrative to a point where, yeah, they made us all think
Mm-hmm.
that she was crazy and we're normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
It's
right.
something to think about. The
Just think
media
about it.
does,
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. They would not have done that to Mike Tyson. There's no way he could have even told a single joke to him because he wouldn't have handled it well. Maybe. I mean, I can't say that because he's improved. He has,
Right. I mean, do you remember that clip from CP24 where
yeah.
that's a classic clip where, like, I rate I rate the journalist for like bringing that up, you know, for just being like upfront, being like, hey, listen, like, you have rape cases like open on you that are like still kind of like ongoing. So yeah, like Mike Tyson did not handle that well, like not whatsoever. Um,
But the guy
yeah,
should have, he probably should have held that because, you got to watch some interviews. You watched him in the ring. Like, come on. Like, it's
it's
very
true.
bold to still
It's
go
true.
for
He knew that he was protected because of the cameras.
it.
Without
Yeah.
the cameras there, he would not have had the guts to do that by any means. Um, I
Mhm.
don't know who would. I don't know who would say anything contradictory to Mike Tyson without a fucking camera on, or like
Yeah.
someone else in the room, But yeah, man, it's very true. We think about how many like people we know who've like, I'm not trying to compare, breakdowns or like mental struggles, but like, yeah, we think about how many people we know, ourselves who've gone through like some really, really intense patches of experienced panic attacks have like, gone through gone through really, really difficult patches in their life like that. But it's like there's no scrutiny. There's no like paparazzi that have like now like normalized, that have like people are now like making a living off of like stalking, right? And then it becomes this like you then reach a stage where someone like Kanye is like, oh, like I know these people are just trying to make a living, and like it's gotten to this point where people who are vulnerable, who have like families who are just trying to make a living, are now doing this because stalking has been deemed like a skill set, and like you then enter this weird space where it's like there's now like an entitlement to like getting in on these people's lives as a result of this kind of like profession existing for so long. It's like, yeah, it's not like those people are bad people, but it's the fact that it's just been normalized that like these people's lives are now everyone else's business. That just kind of makes it fucked up. Death to the celebrity, man. Let's get it out of here.
Yeah, we're done with celebrity. We're back to regular people are cool.
That's right.
Just be
That's right.
regular. Like, I was thinking like maybe when I was like 14, 15, we all think, not we all, but a certain amount of us think, hey man, there's a chance I could be like known. I could be known somewhere. And then it hit me when I was 18 and I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. for statistics class to take the bus and the subway for an hour and a half to school, that yeah, I'm regular.
Yeah.
Right? I'm regular, like, and that's okay. Like,
yeah.
I'm kind of okay with that. Like, there's a new luxury now.
Yeah.
The new luxury is you got a nice rug in your home
right.
underneath your coffee table. You got a rug.
Right.
You might have a car from this past decade. That's rare. There's you might have the robe with silk pajamas combination.
That's right.
And you don't even have to shell out for that.
You don't have to shell. You don't have to shell out for that.
You can buy a very affordable set.
That's true. It's very
true. I like that you brought that up, because there's death to celebrity. You already know Eat the Rich. We're doing that. We're eating them.
We're doing it. We're eating them.
We're eating them, and we're eating them every meal of the day.
Every meal of the day, baby.
Especially brunch.
Especially. Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, it's a good point. I think like as more time passes, there's like there's solace found in less people being in your business. I was jokingly gonna say like, oh, like you've like you're in a good place when nobody cares. I obviously don't mean it in that way. I want people to care about you. In fact, things are probably looking really great in your life if there's a bounty of people who care about your well-being. But I also mean to say like one's in your business. There's a so on top of the Britney Spears doc, a Biggie doc recently came out. As I imagine, or not imagine, but when I first saw it, I thought this was not the documentary, but the movie that came out about him like a couple years ago. But it's not. This is another one. You watched this. I didn't, because I just don't be watching stuff, unfortunately. But what'd you think?
It's cool because they go from D-Rock, who's one of his childhood friends, his perspective, and a few other childhood friends' perspective. One of his friends who was unfortunately slain, his girlfriend appeared on.
Wow.
And of course his mother. So a different take for this one, but it also kind of went into the crew, which I like, which was Junior Mafia.
Right.
And his mom said something great, which is, if he didn't pass, almost all of them would have platinum albums, which is true for Kim and C's.
Yeah.
Sure. But not the others. But who knows, like, what would have happened?
Right. Yeah.
Being around the greatest ever would have some influence on you,
Of course. Some
what it's like, for example, this is equivalent to the Weeknd belly around Nav.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
It's like
agreed.
They're better because he's there.
Wait, the Weeknd's better because shut the hell up. How dare you? But no. But the inverse absolutely is true. 100%, 100%. He's better because they're there, and there's guidance on all sorts of stuff. Just the cosign, all of that is so valuable. And slightly unrelated, but just in terms of like thinking about the what ifs, right? Like, I briefly spoke about this the other day with someone, but just thinking about, you know, Bobby Shmurda being kind of like freed and being at a point where, you know, as a result of the kind of like how much hype was around him when his first few tracks came out, but like the internet preserving it, and the internet even being a thing where, like, you know, a lot of the population kind of like knew about his incarceration, and there's this kind of preservation of his music and this kind of like longing for him to like be released, where like he can come out of jail and still be celebrated, right? And kind of be like met with, kind of be given his flowers, right? Whereas, like, you know, I mean, we were talking about it on episode 80, right, about that album, Eyes of Love, that came out, where, like, you know, it was only 2 or 3 years of like the lead singer being incarcerated and like his song being a hit, you know. The summer it was released, and then 2 or 3 years later, like, he comes out and, you know, the song's off the radio, and no one remembers him. And this is just in his town, right, in Baltimore city, pardon me. But I thought about that and just thought about how, like, you know, in many ways, like, one of the kind of like beautiful things that came out of, or that the internet has done, right, is like help preserve Bobby Shmurda. And whether or not, you know, we forget about him every couple of months, you know, there's someone on the internet who'll tweet like, Bobby Shmurda is free in like 180 days, and everyone suddenly remembers, you know. And if it's not that, someone just needs to post a gif of like him throwing up the hat and doing the shmoney dance, you know. And like, it's there, that association is there. It also, you know, sadly kind of makes me think about how Pop Smoke never got to have that moment, you know, never got to kind of like come back to New York after touring and like have like a tour, or like do like a homecoming show after like doing all sorts of touring and like putting out his album, you know, or I guess preparing to put out his album. So yeah, very, very kind of sad in that sense, and a wild duality to also think about. Yeah, like people's legacies, whether like dead or alive, right, and how they kind of just how they transpire. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I don't know what Bobby Shmurda is gonna do next, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and with the Love album, I played a lot this weekend.
Oh yeah,
and dude, that is so good. Like,
it's
it
an
is
incredible
peak
album,
funk.
right? Yeah,
Like, it's so sad. It's obviously, and oh wow, this is like kind of on the same level as Mac Miller's Circles for me.
Wow,
You know, as in, and not musically
right,
at all. They're very different musically, of course, because
yeah,
different times, completely different genres. But I don't like listening to Circles because it's extremely sad. You know, this
yeah.
is music that could potentially be extremely different if he was alive.
Oh my
Right?
gosh, yeah,
And there's so many sad songs that you just keep thinking of, right?
yeah.
And when I visit Eyes of Love, I'm like, wow, this is so great. Like, I want to hear the next one and the second LP and the third LP and the fourth. But, you know, you don't get any of that, of course, because of their
That's right.
situation. And
Yeah,
it's so nuts. Like, even though it's, what is it, 8 songs or is it 10
yeah.
songs?
8 songs. Yeah.
But 8 songs in, like, to record in jail. Like,
Recorded in jail in one take. That album was recorded in one take, which is like mind blowing. Mind blowing.
I know a lot of artists have 7 years in the studio. They don't make anything.
That's right.
You know? They're just in a studio. Like, what a luxury that is to be in a studio, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Seriously. Yeah, if anyone's listening, if you haven't listened to Eyes of Love, you gotta listen to that album right now. Speaking of music that you gotta listen to as well, quick shout out to our friend Chris Martin, not from Coldplay, who goes by the artist name New Village. Recently dropped a song called Static. Incredible. He's got our other friend, other artist, Mason Hyde, who's a friend of the show, who did some incredible engineering and production on there. Ahmad, our 12th ever, or our guest on the 12th episode of this show, and friend of the show as well, doing all the creatives for that. Very, very excited to see what more music they put out. But you should check out the song Static. We'll play it at the end of this episode too.
Very good, and buy it on iTunes. I'm
That's
buying
right.
all my friends' music now.
Perfect.
I don't stream because you give them 6 pennies with the stream.
That's right. That's right.
At least buy it for the dollar. Shout out Clyde Drexler. You know, I'm gonna get him on the pod. He's a very funny kid, because I'm calling him a kid even though he's 21. But I like having the youth on. But check him out, Clyde Drexler. You know, from Scarborough, of course. Yeah, I'm trying to buy his stuff as well. You know, just because, you know, give them some support. You know, they're indie. Hopefully.
That's right. That's right. Hopefully.
Hey, do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not one that can speak. You know, earlier I said I'm not one that can speak on family. Because I was talking about like a friend who got married and we didn't see him since.
Right.
And then I was about to go in on him, but then I was like, who am I to speak on the structure of family? I don't know anything about that.
Fair, man. That's a very good point.
The only drama I have in my life is with my family. That's wild.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you nasty people have drama with everybody, you know, with your friends, with coworkers. You live for that, you weirdo.
Yeah.
But
weirdo.
But what was I trying to get to here? But yeah, don't do that. Don't have that dumb kind of drama, you know, just live without care. Like the reason some of you might wonder, damn, why are you so stress-free? Or why do you look so stress-free?
You as in you, like why is Nivake? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because I simply don't do anything. And you know, you have to get on my level. Don't do anything, and you know, you'll be stress-free, you'll be relaxing, you won't be thinking. You know, that's what I do, and I'm fine. Look at me.
I'm doing just fine. Fair, man. I hope we can you know, we can dive into that a little bit deeper as to what doing nothing means, you know, because you do a lot of things, you know, at the same time, you know. We're speaking very abstractly here, but maybe you can give us an example of something that when you say I don't do anything, what do you mean? What do you mean? Can you give us an example of something that you like actively don't do?
Well, I'm gonna be real here. I start work again on Monday, right? And I haven't worked for the entire February because I came off of something in January. And I thought things were going to turn out differently for me, but they didn't. That's life. And I did not do anything for the entire February, where I did, you know, little fun little errands here and there, chilled, had some good mini experiences, experienced some music.
Micro experiences. Is that the word? Is that what you're looking for? I have micro experiences.
Micro experiences. That's a great word.
That's what you're going to call it.
Stop with those macro experiences and start with the micro experiences. Right. And yeah, and and where was I going out here? What were we talking about?
What's an example of something that you don't do?
I don't do. I'm trying to think about what I've done. Yeah, I haven't done a lot. And I was about to get into how I haven't done a lot and I'm getting back into selling out.
Oh, dude.
You know? I'm back into selling out. Yeah. I'm officially selling out again. Because when I was a youth, I thought I'd be doing things. You know, I thought I'd be really moving out here, shifting. I thought I would be a dot shifter. Dot changer? What is those terms? Those useless terms that people say. The 30 under 30s. The dot shifters.
I don't know what that is. What the fuck is a dot?
No. I never thought I'd be a dot connector or anything. But no, I'm selling out. And the reason I could say this freely is because my Instagram is locked. Haha, you can't find me employment. That's the only reason my Instagram doesn't have any prize content on there. It's just locked so that employers don't find out about this, and hence me talking right now about it.
Right.
Until I finish probation, then I can let loose
Follow
again.
your boss. You follow your boss.
Yeah, it ultimately. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say something just in case to protect myself.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say that. And a lot of you need to listen to that as well. Pay attention, learn from that. Don't always say everything.
That's right. I don't know if you guys know, but Nivake is on IG Live every 30 minutes every day, spitting free game. So
game.
You got to get on there every 30 minutes. Don't miss out because it's rare. Every 30 minutes, every day, 7 days a week. He doesn't miss Christmas, doesn't miss Boxing Day. Free game.
My birthday, I do it.
That's right. This is the only hour every 2 weeks that Nivake doesn't spit free game. Every 30 minutes.
I'm sick of game. Like people will say, I'll give you game. I'll put you on game. Would you rather, have $20,000 of dinner with Jay? Like that culture of people has made me sick.
Yeah.
I don't need game.
Yeah.
I need money.
That's right.
Just give me the money. I don't need tips to get like, everybody's like, here's some financial tips. Don't spend money on things you like. Don't buy DVDs. Don't buy clothes. Don't buy vinyls. Don't buy. That's my advice. Buy less of everything. And no, the tip is, I need more money.
Yes.
Giving that would be a big tip. I'm not also giving you any new information here. Everybody listens to this knows that.
Yeah. That's right. That's the most frustrating part. Yeah, man. Last point that I'll make, I don't know if it's just my algorithm on this new app Clubhouse, but all the shit I see on there is just like tips on growing your social media following. Get 100K in like less than a month. 100K followers in less than a month. I'm just like, man, I don't want to hear this. First of all, this is bullshit. And second of all, I don't want to hear some dude just talking at me for 3 hours telling me about how I gotta play the algorithm game. I get it. There's a lot of people who have a lot of sound advice to give out there. I'm not gonna take away from people who have some incredible experiences. There's a creative director, photographer, videographer, Liam McRae, who on his Instagram recently did like an Ask Me Anything and like shared some incredible insight about like getting a work visa in the United States as a non US citizen, like dealing with clients, like technical advice on like cameras to use and different effects, and his experiences in terms of keeping ideas fresh and working with like diverse crews and working with different people. It's like there was a lot of really solid advice that was kind of shared through that, and like there are a lot of instances where I appreciate that, but I think the thing I find myself wondering is like, if all you're doing is giving out advice in this very particular way, like when and where are you like learning this shit and like continuing to learn and like reflect on your experiences versus just saying like, yeah, this is the way, I know everything, I know all this shit. That's always something that has kind of like baffled me, is like that kind of like guru advice, quick help type I don't know, world. It's got to be hollow, because there's no point where someone's just like, yeah, I'm gonna take a hiatus from this shit and just learn. I'm just gonna spend some time learning so I have something substantial to share with you. But yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't know.
With Clubhouse, it kind of makes me sick. Like I thought there would be fun groups like brown guys who wear long sleeve t-shirts or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of groups like, how to dismantle capitalism. I'm for that. I'm not, shout out Bernie, shout out Bern. You already know my guy is the representative. Start socialism. Socialism.
So-
Socialism for all you vocab heads.
That's
Pronunciation heads, actually.
right.
Socialism. That's a weird way to say that. um Anyways, what I was saying. Yeah, there's a lot of those groups, and I thought it would be more fun. You know? Like everybody, not everybody's trying to get money. Like, doesn't anyone want to chill? Like, have fun?
Talking about long t-shirts.
Like,
Oh my god.
like
Yeah,
it's
I want a group for I want a support group for people who have refused to move on from 2013 fashion trends. Like that's what I want to be a part of, you know, because I think I was a part of that group for I would have joined that group. I would have been eligible to join that group until maybe a year or two ago. So
okay. Sorry, I have to. Oh, really? Eh?
no. That's bad joke.
No, I was like, that's okay. I was like, for a second, I was thinking about that. But something else ridiculous came to my mind where a friend of mine, who I won't say his name, he was talking about what he looks for, I guess, in a partner. And he said, yo, I'm just looking for someone that can hustle, that has a hustle. And that made me sick. I almost vomited to the ground and on his feet and shoes. And I told him, don't ever say that in front of me again. And I genuinely meant that because what? Like that's nasty and sick. And for everybody pushing the hustle, like you gotta have a hustle, second, third hustle. You gotta have so many hustles. You never sleep. You're always awake and hustling. I hate that, and I will never do that. Okay, I'm not working more than one thing at a time. Okay, maybe two things.
Maybe two.
I'm not doing three things. All right.
Okay, that's fair.
And crypto is not a thing. That's something that I do. You know,
Crypto's not a job. It's a life.
I just BMO app transferred to my
the wire.
My Coinbase, like spring off.
Shout out to anyone who is working multiple jobs because you know that's how they're trying to survive. You know, but because we know people out there who are trying to make ends meet with that multiple job life. But that's a very different line. You know, there's a difference between this is what I need for sustenance and to support myself, and because the job market is shit, versus my personality is telling you my net worth. You know,
I'm not even gonna lie. I've been saying all this, and then earlier today, maybe 3 hours ago, I thought about buying a pasta maker, making handmade pasta, and then bagging it and selling it. First, I was doing. See, that's how they get you. That's how this capitalism gets you. Where I just wanted to make pasta for myself for the week.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I gotta sell it.
You gotta make it worth. It's gotta be worthwhile, right?
Yeah, and also because nobody's really doing it. But no, I can't do that. Like that's just I can't do everything like that.
Yeah, not all your hobbies have to turn into, financial kind of like revenue generators. Let's just let it bring you joy. Let it fill your stomach, belly full of food. You know, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Hobbies don't have to make you money.
That's true.
But it's hard not to feel that way sometimes, truly. But listen, man, get that pasta maker. Let me try some of that. Tagliatelle, yeah.
Oh yeah, when I master it, it's gonna be a big vibe.
Oh
Trust me, it's I'm gonna be working on it, and hopefully it'll be served at my. I talk about this potential spot that I'm gonna be getting.
Yes, that's right.
Which might not even happen until June. Who knows? It's just because I'm being like I gotta be smart with this, you know.
Right. We're getting there.
Once I leave my house, I can never come back. Like the weekend did, you know.
That's right.
He left one weekend. He never came back. I'm trying to leave on a Tuesday, and then I never come back. So I have to be straight and good.
That's fair.
I do that, and unfortunately, that might be a bit longer, but the price we pay for freedom.
That's right, man. We'll keep holding out until that day. It's gonna be a holiday. Let me tell you, it's gonna be a holiday, man.
Holiday. I finally understand the Irish in terms of freedom.
Oh yeah. What the fuck?
No. It's not the same. Me moving out is not the equivalent to the Irish escaping Ireland. And why did I attack the Irish? I don't know. But is anyone going to stop me? Probably not. And let's logistically let's calculate this. Is anybody gonna message me about this? No.
Dude, no one's gonna message you because they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, I'm talking about Irish people. But my point is I don't know any Irish people.
But what Irish holiday are you talking about? You're talking
Well,
about
I'm not
St.
even talking about
Patrick's
an
Day?
Irish holiday.
Jesus Christ.
I'm talking me leaving my house is equivalent to the Irish escaping Ireland,
Oh my god.
you know? But that's not true though.
Fair enough. You know, I'm not even gonna front. I don't know at what point in time the Irish left Ireland. Like I know they left, obviously, you know, but I don't know when. I don't know the history there. Unfortunately, maybe
I
the
heard
history heads that can come after us now. That's all right. All right. Last thing that we're gonna talk about on this episode is this wild photo of Kunail Nanjiani that
yeah.
Nivake showed me earlier today. Maybe for the video viewers, we can share this photo.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make it the background of our artwork as well, because it's kind of fucked up. Like, so for maybe for someone who's visually impaired, who's listening to us in just over audio, this photo is a photo of Kunail Nanjiani, who over the past few years has kind of transformed into this really lean and kind of muscular person by way of, you know, getting some role in the Marvel superhero movies, I think in the Elementals or something like that. Anyways, it's caused a lot of noise given that, you know, previously he was just kind of like not in crazy shape like that. And of course, you know, transformations of this kind, right, towards being really lean and strong and muscular are celebrated, of course. But in this photo, he's just kind of sitting with both of his arms, you know, like his elbows at the corners, at the edges of the table, a plate in front of him. He's kind of smiling, looks like he's just sitting down for dinner. But his right arm looks at least like 1.5 times bigger than his left arm. And we can't tell if it's like an optical illusion. Can't tell if, like, you know, it's just the angles, and maybe it's just positioned in a way where one looks bigger than the other. But it looks kind of unnatural. It like very much plays into like memes of like, I remember as like a teen of like someone like a dude specifically like jerking off a lot and one arm being like much bigger and stronger than the other. I think it was like something stupid on like Family Guy as well. Like Quagmire has like one like super stupid muscular arm as a result of like masturbating a shit ton. That's unfortunately where my immature brain went when I first saw this picture. But what struck you about the photo when you first saw it, maybe?
So many things, but I'll start with one. A couple nights ago, I had a major nightmare where all I saw, what felt like hours, is just that photo. It was the strangest thing. It was just a dazed Kumail Nanjiani sitting there for what looks like maybe a dinner filled with radishes and other things
Right.
on his plate. And he was so dazed, it was so uncomfortable that it haunted me. And
That's
it
right.
made me very scared. Because I'm gonna throw up some pictures here in the visuals.
Okay.
Here, this is what he looks like. Of course, we've shown it probably 4 times by now, but
All right.
we need to show it again because it's
That's right.
uncomfortable.
That's right.
It's uncomfortable to look at. It's unrealistic. You know, myself being a thin brown man with 0% muscle, I feel weird when I see that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, and this is how I believe the brown guy should look. I'm gonna throw up several pictures of regular brown guys here that I found on Google Images, and I think it's uncomfortable and personally, uh, hard to look at.
You know, it's yeah, man. You raise a really really good point, and you know we're again, for those who aren't watching, the images we've selected of these brown men are just, men you see, they're all shapes and sizes, because that's normal. And it is definitely really spooky because especially when you think about the way that like that transformation is going to be glamorized, like, wow, you look so great. Just that saying alone implies that you looked like shit beforehand,
Yeah.
or more importantly, that's like that you weren't healthy beforehand, or that like all of a sudden like you deserve more attention as a result of taking this kind of like shape, and man, you're 100% right. Like, I don't think 2020 100% was the year that I finally acknowledged that I like I struggle with like my body image. And I think that came about from just being at home a lot more, being able to look in the mirror a lot more, having a lot more time to think about all the things that I wasn't doing for myself. And 100%, I can trace it back to like comments being made about me when I was younger, and a lot of judgment about, just being a pudgier kid when I was growing up. And like, yeah, without really realizing that it's kind of been compounding and kind of affecting me. I think twofold. One, just a denial of kind of like accepting that, I don't know. I'm sometimes I'm hesitant to kind of go as far as saying that, it's that what I experience is like is body dysphoria. But I think, and just for anyone who is kind of keen to know what body dysmorphia or body dysmorphic disorder, it's when you're, at its kind of most severe state, or not even that, but just as a disorder, it's a mental health disorder where you kind of can't stop thinking about one or more like flaws in your appearance. And it's a spectrum, of course. I think at to some degrees it can kind of be at a point where it's like it's filling up your mind, and you're kind of, it's affecting your state of well-being at like a very severe level, where like you're feeling embarrassed or ashamed, sometimes anxious, to the point where like you may even distance yourself from other people as a result of these kind of negative feelings you're harboring. But yeah, I think what I was going to say was, I think why I didn't really give myself the space or maybe accept it for myself, one is because I think up until even like 2019, before I had like a severe ankle injury, I was like fairly happy with like where I was, in terms of the amount of physical activity I was getting. And like 2018, I'd come off of like running a couple half marathons, which I felt really great about. And it was only after I got this injury and I put on weight, and I had like yearned to like get back to that place, get back to how much I weighed, get back to, running as fast as I was. Did I take in that, like, oh man, this is something that like I'm letting it, like, is impacting me like more severely than I thought, to the point where like I could be having a really good day and like look in the mirror to like get ready to shower, and my like mood is fucked for the rest of the night, just because I like looked at myself and I wasn't happy with what I saw in the mirror, So upon reflection, what I didn't realize was like, even when I was exercising a lot, and yeah, like I said, I was fairly happy with, how fast I was running or whatever it was, I still remember, like, now that I give myself the time to think about it, I remember even at that time being like, ah, man, like I gotta lose more weight, or like, oh, I'm still like, I still weigh too much, which now I think about, and I'm just like, oh, that was mad of me to have thought that. But that thought has kind of always been there for me. I think another big part of why I dismissed it also is because I also, like, my preconditioned mind also convinced me to believe that it wasn't like something that men experienced, that it's just like, oh, like body issues are or body dysmorphia, even kind of in its most severe state, eating disorders, etc., is like an exclusively like a challenge, like a challenge faced by women, right? And that's 100% a result of just being conditioned to believe that like men don't deal with that, but yeah, how can you fucking not look at that picture of Kunal and Johnny and just be like, oh fuck, what am what am I doing, right? Or start kind of criticizing yourself. It's like, yeah, I think like I definitely am better, I think, mentally than where I was maybe even a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, 100%. I look at that photo and you fucking see his like jawline, or you see how like cut he is, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what like, this is wild. This is like, he did some crazy shit to like get to this point. But inevitably the question is just like, oh shit, like what am I doing, right? And like, why aren't I going as like hard as this, or why? The questions are always just like, what do I not have, right? Which inherently is just, is not helpful, is not healthy, right? So yeah, as I said, I think I'm definitely gotten better about like the way I think about myself, but I also have a lot of bad days. I definitely resort to eating when I'm like feeling like emotionally overwhelmed or exhausted even. I'm still gonna struggle, particularly when like things haven't gone well. It's in any facet of my life, it's very easy for me to immediately come back to like the status of my body or my health. So yeah, I gotta say, I mean, particularly to any men who kind of listen to the show, but anyone really, who may kind of struggle with similar challenges, who feels comfortable, talking to us, maybe via Instagram, or send us an email or something about what your kind of experience and maybe journey with it has been like, and what are maybe some things that you have practiced for yourself that has been helpful, or maybe if you're struggling and you're not sure what might be helpful, and maybe we can kind of share some resources with that, because yeah, man, I think it would be foolish to pretend that body image issues amongst men especially are not a thing. You can't deny that when you fucking look at that picture of Kumail Nanjiani. Yeah, man. The fact that it gave you nightmares is fucked.
Yeah, I guess because like society such as Gucci Mane pre 2014
yeah,
has made me kind of comfortable with wanting to have a big belly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Even
exactly.
I don't want to say that Rick Ross inspires me in any way whatsoever, because he does not.
Right.
But his ability to be comfortable with himself and his body is kind of cool,
right.
So it
It's
makes
incredible.
me, kind of okay with having like a possible big belly. I remember I was in a barber shop with some fellas,
Oh man,
those classics.
the one of the healthiest social situations to find yourself in, a men's barbershop.
Where everything bad doesn't exist there. It's all kind behavior, not at all. It's actually pretty cruel. But so I was showing some of my tattoos on my stomach, and somebody's like, "Damn, you put on some weight since you were younger." And I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, when I was 21, I was I was very thin, to the point where I had I had abs when I was 21." Right. And that's because I was so skinny that I had the skinny abs, right?
Right.
And then now I've been eating and stuff like that. And I'm perfectly fine. But I do have those body dysmorphia issues where I'm like, damn, should I be eating 6 more of those macadamia nut cookies? They're delicious.
Right.
What should I? Should I spread them out?
Exactly. And there's a voice, right? And like that voice is like one that we've heard elsewhere in our lives, right? That then becomes internalized, and it's one where we kind of self-police ourselves, right? And it's like, of course we like, yeah, that's the one that's the internal voice that's going to kind of fuck us up. I mean, of course, I'm sure there are tons of people who still have people in their lives who are judging them and making comments like that fucker at the barbershop, right?
Well,
like,
no,
like that
well,
wasn't helpful.
I do have to say it was a friend of mine. He didn't mean it in like the harshest way.
Fair.
It was like a much lighter way.
Right.
And it was my barber too. And they weren't like trying to bring me down, like to a point where they're trying to shit on me. It's like typical kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And it wasn't like I was like, oh my God. And then
Right.
I looked at myself in the mirror for a long time. I was pretty confident at that point
Fair,
in my
fair. That's
shape,
good.
but I was still experiencing a lot of those random moments of
Mhm.
that body dysmorphia, which is
Yeah.
very, you know, it's so. The first time I've never heard of it amongst guys, body
It's
dysmorphia
not
talked
talked
about,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It should be.
No, yeah. Thanks for sharing that too, because I mean, it's very funny. If I was in your position at that barbershop, I 100% would have gone home and cried. Like, no lie. I'd just be like, yeah, fuck, man, you're right. And that's just like, that just kind of paints a picture of like even like how kind of intense it can get, even in like the most lighthearted of ways, right? And it gets normalized too, that it becomes a joke to like slap someone and be like, hey, this guy looks like he's got back a couple pounds on. No, yeah, you look good, man. Yeah. It's those kind of things that can normalize, right? Or like even just kind of, yeah. It's we really just kind of touched on the surface here, but maybe it's something for us to keep dissecting as this podcast goes on. Bring it up with some of our guests if they feel comfortable talking about it, because man, it's we just got to do our part in trying to normalize it too, right? Normalize talking about it and being open about it to whatever degree people feel comfortable. But if anyone's got any tips, on maybe little mental exercises to work through, or any kind of affirmations maybe that you share with yourself, send them our way. It's helpful, and we love to share what we learn as well, as gurus, as experts, quote unquote, on everything. Nivake goes live in 30 minutes on his IG, so
yeah,
he's got to spit the game that you share with him, but we've reached the end of this episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We've got a really exciting guests lined up for our next couple episodes that we're looking forward to. And wherever you listen to this, give us a follow on Spotify, give us a follow on SoundCloud. If you listen on Apple Music or Apple Podcast app, leave us a review. Let us know what you think. And if you watch this on YouTube, hello, goodbye, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Nivake, any parting words?
Yeah, thank you to all the fans, all the people that listen to this thing, people that like this and actually want us to do these more. Salute to you, and we are in love with you. 100%. Thank you, and good night.
High top flip flops.
Grandpa Alex mixtape.